Move to the side.
Do you want me to tilt it down a little bit?
We're live.
I think
Okay.
we're good.
We're good.
All right, everybody. Thank you for jumping over. I see we already have 20 people in the room. Again,
Welcome.
my name is Russ.
I'm Carrie.
We're the Roads We Roam, and we have...
I'm Patty.
I'm Patrick. This is Bess.
And Truman.
And we are Travels with Delaney.
Awesome. Well, we're so happy everybody decided to jump on over and continue the conversation.
And for those of you just joining us, we are doing a special crossover live chat with our two channels. We did the first 30 minutes on their channel, and now we're on ours. So if you're watching this after the fact, make sure you catch up with their channel and catch that first part as well.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so who do we have in the room here?
Keep it rolling.
That's right. Well, of course, Miss Donna Delahanty.
Donna,
here.
thanks for joining us.
Gerard, Liz, RVD,
Gerard,
Michael,
Liz,
we were talking about.
Michael.
the Art Forum.
Art Forum.
DNS Adventures.
Hey, guys.
RV Reviews by the Air Force guy, Mr. Paul Chamberlain.
Paul. Hey, Paul.
Hey, Paul,
Paul's
thanks
in
for
the house.
joining us.
See, we gotta like him because we're prior Air Force. So.
Yes.
That's
we
right.
got that. Vinny Mozzarella.
Vinny, hey, and you know, we're actually going to get together with Paul when we go to Hershey. And we're going to have a little interview with Paul,
Awesome.
or sit down and
Yes.
talk. So we're super
So
excited
if anybody
about
has
meeting Paul.
any of those questions you've been dying to ask Paul, send them to us and we will make sure we get the scoop for you. We have Moby, Lewis Outside,
Moby, Lewis outside. Hey, Lewis.
Barefoot Adventures,
Barefoot Adventures.
Adria Chain, Joyce Moses, our National Adventure.
I can't keep up with these.
I know.
Oh, there's so many.
Adria,
Eddie,
thank you.
Arkansas Traveler, Lori Carter, and she's from Ohio, by the
Yeah,
way.
Lori is.
Yeah.
Awesome,
Arkansas
awesome.
said part 2.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
part 2. And Brenda McGinty.
Hey, Brenda.
Oh, hey, Brenda.
Hi, Brenda.
Welcome. So, Brenda was actually in Iowa with
Yeah.
us.
Oh,
that's
fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, that's one of the things that we really love. One of the differences, I think, between the Little Guy Max and the New Camp things, we love these little gatherings that you've been having all throughout the country and along the way. And one of the things that I don't know if enough people realize is a lot of these things are just pulled together by Patty and Patrick.
Yeah.
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 I mean, it's not a big corporate thing. It's just their love of the product and the love of the people that buy the product. And I just want to commend you both
Oh,
for
thank
doing
you.
that
Yeah.
because I just think it's really exciting.
And the funny thing is, it's not, when we do our campouts, they're not for just new camp owners.
No.
We just seem to attract a lot of new
Yes.
camp owners. But for instance, when we do Virginia, we have, I think, like 19 or 20 sites now reserved in Virginia
Oh,
for our
wow.
camp out. But there, we're going to have Little Guy Maxes, we're going to have a Mini Max, we're going to have a Bigfoot,
We have a fifth big Class
A. I mean, it's going to be a wide range.
And it's going to be a party.
Yeah, and we just do these because what we find is like we love camping with people, and so the campouts are a great way for us to get to, you know, meet people face to face.
We may have to break out the little guy, our little guy
Head on
Max.
over there.
And
Yeah.
drive back
Come over to
See,
Virginia.
that's the benefit of having numerous RVs. It's like changing clothes.
Right.
Sorry about that.
Russ still had the alarm set on
Yeah.
his phone and it went off.
That's okay.
It's
So-
probably going to go off again because we're on snooze, but hopefully we can
Oh,
deal
it's
with it.
going to. Okay. So this nomadic idea has joined us.
Hey guys, thank you for
Hi.
joining us.
And then Shelby Griggs.
Oh, hey,
Hi,
Shelby.
Hi, from
Shelby, tell
Oregon.
Tina we said hi.
Hi. Yep. And Leo.
Leo.
Thank you, Ronald McCormick. He found us and subscribed.
Yay, good job, Dad. Hopefully he didn't hear my comment about being easier to get up the mountain with a small trailer than a Class A. Dad has a Class A
Oh,
Hurricane.
okay.
Yeah.
Rosebuds Travels. They said they recently took their casita to a wedding. That's a great way to attend a wedding.
We did that
yeah.
once. We weren't in the wedding.
We weren't in a casita, but we were in our tab.
Tab.
Yeah, we went to my cousin's wedding and
We stayed at a local
at
area.
a state
but,
park. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a perfect way. There is a place, where is it? In Tennessee, I think. It's called the Big Red Barn.
Oh yeah.
And it's part of the Boondockers
Welcome.
Welcome
Yep.
Network,
Okay.
which I think it would be a better fit as a harvest host, but they are just affiliated with the Boondockers Welcome at this point in time. Big Red Barn, they just host weddings there. It's this big old antique barn, and they've got this gigantic parking lot that you can just go there, no amenities. and there's nothing to buy there or
Oh,
anything.
nice.
So if you just went there, it would be truly just
Free.
a boondock
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
The owners live in Georgia, so when you reach out and contact them, you're just letting them know, so that way they can let the caretaker down the road know.
Know that you're
That's
coming
what
in.
they're
nice.
gonna
Gotcha.
Yep.
But if you look at the pictures online, it's just a gorgeous area. So if you're going through Tennessee, look up the Big Red Barn thing on
Nice.
there. Mark Randall said, hello from Pittsburgh. My wife and I are leaving in January on a year-long trip across the U.S. in our Max Rough Rider. Can't wait to hit the road.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
You're going to love it. We have a Max Rough Rider as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just going to be a fantastic voyage. And we're super excited that you're going on that.
Yeah, if you have any questions along the way, just let us know.
Yep.
Or Miss Stacy Forrest, who
Yes,
also
that's
is
right.
in the room, and she's a Max owner, and she knows quite a bit herself. She helped us in the early stages when I was not allowed to take a hot shower for the first 2 months.
I didn't
we
know.
owned the
I
little
wanted
guy.
to make sure there was water in the heater because I didn't want to, burn the water heater
Right.
up.
Right.
And Stacy Forrest contacted us, and her husband Chris,
Yeah.
he knew how to do it. So that got us all set. And Carrie had hot water, and she was a happy camper.
Yay.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, it's so horrible camping and knowing you have a fully functioning shower, but yet I was relegated to go use some of the state park
Right.
Yeah.
showers, which some were okay, some
Some were
weren't.
not.
Yep.
Yep.
And so I am truly grateful to Stacy and Chris for letting me take hot showers eventually. Our national adventure, Pamela Moore.
Hey, Pamela.
Let's see if we have questions. RVDM said, "You're back now." This is when we.
Yeah.
Hey, Michael. So just so you know, if you're ever live streaming with them, if you start talking too much, Russ makes the timer go off to shut you off mid-sentence. I'm sure that's what he was doing as I was telling that story.
Oh man, you caught me.
Yeah.
Guilty as charged.
Okay, so Moby said, question for Russ. Now that y'all upgraded to a Class A, are you consuming more on gas than when you were towing the little guy Max?
So the answer is yes and no. And the little guy Max being towed behind our 1500 GMC, we were getting between 9 and 11 miles per gallon. On the Class A, we're 7 to 9 depending on terrain and wind. But we have been a lot more stationary since we've been in the Class A. When we were in the little guy Max, we were just all over the place. So
And by that, he means when we were at campgrounds, it was nothing for us to unhitch and run in to go get some food or run
McDonald's,
and go different
fast
things.
food, something like that. Yeah.
We don't have a toad right now for our little guys, so we walk everywhere if we don't want to uproot the whole Class A. So one, we're getting more exercise. But the one thing I do like, our tank is obviously a lot bigger, so
Yep.
we can go a lot further. Even though we're getting a little bit less gas mileage per mile, we can go a lot further without having to do those gas station stops.
Yeah.
And if you're wondering, with that 9 to 11, our truck was also retrofitted with oversized tires.
Yeah.
So that
We had a
affected.
lift kit on
So
it
you
as
can't
well.
base a regular Sierra GMC 1500 just on that, because that did affect our mileage as well.
Yeah.
Vanda's here.
Hey,
Vanda
Vanda.
is a podcaster from Canada.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome.
Hi.
Tight Ends podcast.
Tide Ends podcast.
We'll have to check that out.
You have to. She's fantastic. She does a different spin on talking about football and all things sports, but she always works in a little halftime report interviewing interesting people. I don't know why she interviewed me at one
well,
point
you're
in time,
interested.
but it's a great podcast. So check
And she
that
is
out.
a little guy Max owner as well.
She
Oh, we
is.
have to
Yeah.
get around to that.
Yeah, so if you
Yeah.
go up
Check it
through
out, eh?
Banff, if you go up through Banff, reach out to her.
Okay,
and let her
awesome.
know.
We will check you out.
Definitely.
So Gerard said, "How do you remember these people? I have trouble remembering my family member."
Yeah, you
Well-
know, for us, well, that's it. You see them so many times on your live chats, especially, and you get to know them on a first name basis. I know you guys with all your meetups too. That
Right.
probably
That's
helps you
where
guys
we-
out.
Yeah.
That makes
Yeah.
a connection.
Yeah, in
for
fact,
me.
anymore it's like, we say to people like Stacy and Chris, we don't even call them viewers or subscribers.
No.
They're friends.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
April and Tommy,
Friends,
all
yeah.
these people, and so yeah, so they become part of our family,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's how it's easy to remember.
You know, it's when we first went full time, a lot of our friends and family were saying, "Wow, how are you guys gonna do that. You're going to really miss out on the socialization because we're out and about. But we have been so much more social.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And met so many more people since we've been out on the road. It's just, it's an amazing experience.
And talk about remembering family things. I'm sure there's people watching right now that know more about what we are doing right now than our family members
Yeah,
do.
that's
Probably.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
So my sisters will say, "Oh, where are you right now?" I'm like, "Well, if you watched our show, you'd find out." But
Yeah, definitely.
And we actually talked the other day. We have more friends we decided on the West
West
Coast
Coast than at
anymore than
home.
we do at
Yeah.
home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're sad leaving the West Coast
Yeah.
because we have all these friends.
Mark also asked, "How do you deal with tiny black water tanks on the road, especially when boondocking?" We were just talking about this
that earlier.
over dinner. Now, we both the 400 and the Little Guy Max have small tanks.
Right.
Our 2018 Little Guy Max only had 9 gallons. You have
We have 12 in our black, and
Yeah.
we can go 5 days no issue on the black tank. Our biggest issue is we only have an 18-gallon gray tank, and so 2 days we can make it comfortably. 3 days is really pushing it,
Yep.
and
When
that's
you're doing
the
the
problem.
showers. And
Showers.
When you're doing
Yeah.
showers and washing dishes. So black tank is not, at least for us,
Yep.
is not
big
nearly as
problem.
big of a concern. It's the gray tank. It's the
So where we struggled with was the gray tank wasn't that big of a deal for us because when we had the Little Guy Max and with those little tanks, we were still very new. So we were doing a lot of campsites, you know,
RV
KOAs,
parks
RV parks, and that sort of thing. But once we did start staying out on the road, still we did state parks that didn't have local dump sites or right at your
Right.
site.
Right.
So we bought a Blue Boy, portable black tank, and that's how we extended our times out. Because we got about what you guys did. We probably had about 3 to 5 days on our black
Right.
tank. Yeah.
And honestly, as big as your tanks are on Boone,
Oh yeah.
when we go to Alaska, we're just going to pump over to you, and you'll still be fine.
Yeah, you'll still
We've
be-
got 43-gallon black tank. Over
Yeah,
there.
43-gallon
Yeah.
black tank. That's crazy.
Yep.
Adam, thank you. He said I came over from Travels with
Oh,
Delaney.
thank you,
Good, Adam. Thank you.
Much appreciated.
Hey,
And
Adam asked if we were going to be in Hershey. We're not, but these
These
guys are
guys
going to be
are.
in Hershey. So,
Yep.
Adam,
Yeah.
if you go back up to Hershey this year,
we
Yeah,
are
we'd
going to
love
do
to
a
meet up.
cookout. We are going to be camping out right on the fairgrounds. And we're just going to do an open invite meet and greet at one point. We're not sure the exact time yet. But as we get closer, we'll put that out there because we'd love to meet
Yeah.
everybody
Sure.
that comes out there. So
yeah, Adam
Yeah.
came last year, so
Yeah.
maybe he'll come this
Fantastic.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we'd
that'd
love
be great.
to meet you, Adam. Rosebud's Travel said they were on a farm for the wedding, and they even had electricity. So that's always
Oh,
a plus
nice.
when you
Oh,
can
nice.
plug in.
Yeah.
Bonus.
Those harvest hosts, when occasionally, like
Yes.
Island Grove, when we went, we were the only ones there. So she said, since you're the only ones, you can pull close to the building and plug in for the night.
Yeah. So
That's like a bonus perk.
It is. It's like, wow, we've got electricity, and they gave us the password for their Wi-Fi, and this was at a Harvest Host, which you typically don't get. those
Right,
things.
no.
So we were super excited to have that.
So Barefoot Adventures, they drive a diesel pusher Class A.
Okay.
Which Russ is like, that's our next one, if we get, because we had walked in one at the Escapees Escapade. They have this traveling used RV sales
Sales
thing at all
place,
these
yeah.
big
Oh.
convergences. And the guy's like, just come look, just come look.
He was making it difficult to say no. Had we been in the position at that point to buy a diesel pusher, we probably would have been out of there with a diesel pusher.
Kevin Budge said hello from Spokane,
Oh,
Washington.
hey,
Hi,
Kevin.
Kevin.
Kevin, we camped
And
with Kevin and Karen
Karen, yes.
in the Oregon campout, but then that's who we were with outside of Leavenworth.
Oh,
And
very
they
cool.
let us share a site with them. So hopefully you made it home from Spokane safely
And had
from
a
your
good
wedding.
time at the wedding.
Yeah, we had such a good time with
Yeah,
them.
lots
And then
of fun.
Jeff and Shelly came over the
Yeah.
last night,
Man,
hung
yeah.
out. Oh my gosh.
Lots of fun.
This nomadic idea said, when mama is happy, the camper is happy.
That's
right.
right.
That's right.
Yes.
Wise
Wise
words.
words.
It reminds me of I always quote this, but it's so true. And it was from that RV show. What was it? Epic RV. Remember that TV show that came out? That
Yeah.
okay.
I know,
Anyways,
I know what you're talking
Yeah.
Right
about.
deer in the headlights.
yeah, Epic Nomad, whatever.
Yeah.
But there was a gentleman on there that said an RV is an amplifier. If things are really
remember
good,
now.
then things are really, really good. If things are bad, well, they could get really
Really
bad in
bad.
there. So
Yep.
it's smart to keep things really good inside of an RV.
I got it. I remember now.
Yeah.
Okay. Russell Pottinger said, a big welcome to your 2 new guests from Covina, California.
Oh, thank you.
Fantastic, Russell. I love your name.
RV DM said, nice, too funny. Robert Stitch said, I guess with one McCormick having a motorhome and one with a tab, you can say a lot of things about the pros and cons of
That's true.
trailers versus motorhomes too.
Yeah,
That's
and
right.
yeah, and we've actually owned everything as big as a 35-foot fifth wheel, all the way down to the Tab 320. So we've kind of seen it all.
Yep.
And hey, before I forget, Kevin, if you're still listening, you were spot on your directions to come to.
Perfect.
Yep, we went up and Kevin gave us directions to go 20 US 20 through Washington. Gorgeous drive.
Gorgeous.
Is that the one that takes you through Coeur d'Alene?
Well, eventually it drops
Here.
you back down,
Yeah.
and then
Okay.
yeah, absolutely. But I just wanted to thank
Beautiful.
Kevin because we
Thank
did
you.
do that route like he
Gorgeous.
mapped out
Yeah.
for me. And
Now I have a question. I can't remember. Have you seen the new 2020 Avia by New Camp?
yes,
Yes.
Paul, the Air Force guy, said that he just did a video walkthrough on this.
Oh,
and
we'll have to
it's
check that out.
yeah, the
Yeah.
Avia.
Yeah.
The Avia is wonderful. If you're looking, it's a
Beautiful.
28-foot trailer. It's not a teardrop,
No.
obviously, at 28 foot,
Yeah.
but it has a big walk-around bed in the back, huge U-shaped dinette,
Lots
European styling on the
It is
inside.
so cool. Now, do you know what colors New Camp's going to offer?
I think it's just
Real
a standard
light.
color.
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
think,
No.
as far as the outside,
Yeah.
I don't think,
No.
as far as I know, now Paul might chime in and tell me differently, but I don't think they're doing the trim colors like they do on the 400s and the 320s on the Avia. I think
Okay.
it's pretty standard. But it's if you're looking for something more along the lines of an Airstream, but you don't want to spend 80 to 120,000 for an Airstream,
Look at the
this is
Avia.
going to be a good trailer for you because it's going to have that Amish build quality of the New Camp trailers. It's going to have that European styling, but it's not going to be the tiny teardrop that we all have. It's going to give you that
That much
spaciousness.
more room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Our National Venture said you guys have the rapport. So much fun to watch and listen to you all. Thanks for putting these together. You know, we really had to twist. You see the image that they used. I mean, they had to really twist our arms to do this.
Yeah.
It was so funny because last night when Shane was here, Shane and Russ and I were talking about what's known as clickbait on YouTube, where
Yep.
they'll put up the little thumbnail and they'll make you think the video's about one thing, but then it's not really about that. And so I go, yeah, I could do that right now. And these two were talking over here, and I snapped this picture, and I said I could make it look like these two are about ready to rumble.
Throw down.
It truly did.
Yeah.
They were having a great conversation.
They were actually having a great conversation. It was just the way I caught them in that pose.
The picture looks like we're mad, but we're not. We're just yakking.
A lot of people commented on the Facebook post that says, you guys look like they're going to throw down. They
Yeah,
look like
yeah.
they're going to rumble.
It's going to be a
gonna be an
live stream
interesting
throwdown.
live stream.
That's what I should have wrote.
There
Live
you
stream
go.
throwdown. Okay.
Yeah.
Joyce Voyagers is joining us. That's Corey and
Corey.
Daniel.
Oh,
Hey,
hi,
They
Daniel.
are
welcome.
Little Guy Max owners as
Yeah,
well. They said
great
they wish
couple.
we were there. They were here, what, maybe a month and a half ago?
Yeah. We
Yep.
met with them up in West. We hung out with them in Sedona. Great couple. They've got some fantastic videos on their Little Guy Max. If you want to check out their travel stuff, check them out. Joyous Voyagers, Corey and Daniel.
Tina Griggs said, hi, y'all.
Hey,
Hey,
Tina.
Tina.
Miss Judy Payne.
Judy.
I've heard that about social interactions on the road, how we were talking
Oh.
about the
Yes.
friendships and everything.
Yes.
Let's see, Joyce Voyagers said, we're late to the party. Where are we boondocking? So we didn't announce it on this one. We are in Idaho. No, we're
Island
in Idaho.
Park.
Yeah.
Island Park.
Idaho, yeah.
It's a boondocking area. They have a lot of fish and wildlife areas that are open. Patrick had mentioned on their segment that there are a lot of people here, but the way that the roads kind of meander, we don't see anyone, and
Yeah.
we've seen maybe one vehicle go by.
Yeah,
over
I think there's only one other vehicle
There's a
past us.
Class A passes. This morning he was running his generator. We couldn't even hear it.
No.
That's how far away
Yeah,
he is.
yeah.
So
And Barefoot Adventure said, I'm Fred. So and we'll have to remember
All right,
that
Fred.
is
All
Glad
right.
to know
Fred,
your name.
and he had mentioned he put up a video earlier. I can't remember where you said you went. You might want to repeat that, but a couple other people had seen that, so they were talking back and forth. Robert Stitch says, I believe that tank size mostly limits how long you can be at a site without a sewer dump. That's where those
Yep.
Blue Boys really come in handy. If you don't want to leave your site, and a lot of them now have the little hookup, so you can just hook them on the back of the ball hitch
Of your
or
truck.
the ball of
Yep.
your truck. and just drag it down the road with you to the local dump station, so you don't have to uproot your.
Yeah, and I don't know if I would take it outside the camp. It's just kind of one of those areas, like if you're in a campground
And they have a
the
remote
dump
dump
is
site.
away from you, yeah, that's when I would use it. And that's what we use it. I was so nervous the first time I did that because I was thinking, I hope this thing doesn't fall off. I hope this thing doesn't fall off. And every time I'm passing people as I'm driving super slow, like 3 miles an hour, and I'm passing people that are in their campsite, I'm looking at them to see if they're like, you know. But I made it there safely and was able to dump it.
Our national adventure asked, when will you be in Hershey? Are you staying at Thousand Trails? Pennsylvania has some of the best.
So you made the reservations. You know
We
this
are
better
just
than I
going
do.
to be there during the RV show, so I think it's September 11th through the 16th or something
Sounds
like
about
that.
Yeah,
right.
we're pulling
Right
in
about
on the
that.
Tuesday before.
Yeah, and we're going to stay there through that Sunday. Thousand Trails, we're not a member. We haven't stayed at any yet. We've heard a lot about them,
Yeah.
but I mean, we just haven't in our experiences to date.
We stayed at a couple, but just as nightly
Yeah.
rentals, not
Okay.
as members.
So, what do you think about them?
You know, we've stayed in Florida. Is where we've stayed, and
Okay.
both of them were decent.
Decent, yeah.
You know, they're your typical RV park. They're more of the ones we stayed at are really resorts that are family centered. A lot of kid activities, and we prefer this. So,
Yeah,
but,
we do too.
But if you're looking for the full hookups
Yeah.
and that type of thing,
Yeah.
they could be a great
Right.
option.
You know, right before we hit the road, I was trying to figure out which memberships to get, which discount clubs, and it's okay to maybe get one or two right off the bat, but until you really define what your camping style is,
Yeah.
it's better to save your money, spend a little bit more if you stay one night or two at some place where not as a member until you figure it out. We've found that we prefer to boondock a lot more. That's one of the other reasons why we made the move from the Little Guy Max to our Class A,
Yeah.
because we wanted to do longer term
Right.
boondocking at locations, and that's just our preference.
Sure.
So when we're there to answer the very tail end of his question, we're going to be staying at the campgrounds at Hershey.
Yes,
It's
right on the
it's
fairground.
The fairground.
Yeah, fairground. I said
Yeah,
campground. I meant
yeah,
fairgrounds.
yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Donna Delahanty, she's getting the 320S.
Right.
She wants to know what type of surge protector to get, 30 amp or 50. I would assume a 30.
It's going to be a 30, Donna,
Yeah.
because your trailer would be a 30 amp hookup. So yeah, you would want to get a 30 amp surge protector.
Valerie Chaffins asked, Island Grove in Florida? Yes.
Yes, love that place.
Oh my goodness, yes, it's a blueberry vineyard.
Organic
winery.
We're
blueberry
definitely
vineyard.
checking that out next time we're in
Yes.
Florida.
Gerard asked, Rusty does not use his Rusty 78608 does not use his black tank. Puts a plastic bag in the toilet of his casita and then uses the old shovel and hole method or carries it out to the nearest dumpster. Well, there is that.
That is a
There you
technique.
go.
There is that.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
we had, Russ had something very similar for a while.
Yeah, I to extend the tanks because we have the
Right.
small tanks on Little Guy Max. I went out and bought a luggable loo and a little tent,
Right,
you know,
Ted.
yeah,
Right.
outhouse thing, and I used that quite a bit because I didn't want to have to keep coming in. But
Right.
I would say if you have it, use it. They're not that scary. A lot of people don't like to use it because they're afraid of the whole dumping
The black
Right.
tape.
stuff.
No,
And
that's-
no, they're not that
That's
spooky.
nothing.
I spent money for it. I'm using it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paul Chamberlain said, I would recommend the Progressive Industries EMS for surge protection. Yes, that one comes very
Right.
highly recommended.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people with those. I don't even know what we have. Do you?
Oh, off the top of my head, no, I'm sorry, I don't.
Okay.
We have a Progressive Industries is what we have.
Yeah, I've heard great
Yep.
things about them. Yeah.
Stacy said, we just found a Boeing in the front window plastic frame. I found out by seeing light inside. Do you have that problem? Some in the forum suggested foam trim to plug. So we did not experience
We
any
didn't have
Boeing
that,
at
no.
all. If you send us a picture of it, maybe we can take a look at that, but I'm trying to figure out exactly where you're seeing that.
I haven't seen any on the Facebook page, but that doesn't mean that they're not there. But
Yeah.
I just don't recall seeing that either. So that's interesting.
Mark said, thanks, I'm also considered adding a tank under my Max. Lots of room under there for one. Just need to figure out the engineering on the plumbing. I pull with a Jeep Grand Cherokee diesel. Yeah, and you know, the newer Maxes, I think the 2020s, have larger tanks. So they have made the adjustment for that.
Mhm.
So you might even want to contact the company and ask them maybe for their plans on how they did that. Maybe because if you're planning on doing it yourself, I'm assuming that you're technically capable of doing that. But if not, maybe bring it to a local place and you can give them those plans and say, this is what I want.
Yeah, yeah.
I think one of the challenges is, because I talked to Austin at New Camp, because there's room on this to do a bigger tank, but he was telling me that they can only get certain sizes, certain configurations.
Okay.
And so he was telling me that sometimes is the limitation,
Yeah.
is what, without getting a specially made tank, which drives up the cost.
Yeah.
Because I said, why isn't there a bigger one in here? And he's like, again, it goes back to what is available
design.
on the market,
Yeah.
what fits in, and that might be part of it and now there's a bigger one for the Max. And
Yeah, I think it was just the complaints at the beginning, so they did a redesign
yeah.
for those based off of the consumer complaints. So if you have one of the earlier models like ours and you want to upgrade to it,
I think
can.
that would
Can,
be
yeah.
pretty easy.
Yeah.
You know,
Because
if
they've
you
already
go,
Because now they
those
have the
fixed.
they have
tank.
the tanks.
Yeah,
Yep.
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 Exactly. DNS Adventure said, by the way, thanks for the reference. Mike is swinging by Friday to work on the truck.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, we had some work done on we had
I
an
know what that is.
EGR
Yeah.
valve.
I don't know.
I'll get to it in a
Okay.
second. But it's Wanderlost.
Hey,
So,
Wanderlost,
uh,
thank you for the
Thank
super
you
chat.
for
Much
the
appreciated.
super chat, Wanderlost.
Yep.
You're awesome. I'm trying to think. Oh, I saw them. They were talking to Eat, Sleep, RV, Repeat.
Okay.
That
yeah.
they had found them through our channel. So I'm glad to see all these people
Lou and
connecting.
Angie over there at
Yep.
Eat Sleepy. Yeah. But no, Mobile Mike's is fantastic. I think he's going to do a great job. I know he did some work on our RV, and we haven't had any issues ever since. And he's very well priced. He's very honest. All the locals swear by him.
So yeah, and local is West Yellowstone, where we've been here for the last several months. And so if you're traveling through Yellowstone and you have an issue with your rig, he will come right to your vehicle, and he's very well recommended.
What's a huckleberry? Inside joke.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. If you come to
Another
West
inside
Yellowstone,
joke.
ask Carrie what a huckleberry is.
Yeah. And get the ice cream too.
Yeah, the free samples of ice cream. No, huckleberries are very high in demand and well known in West Yellowstone.
Yes, they
so
are.
Google it before you show up in town. That's all I'm saying. RV review, or Paul Chamberlain said, I read that one, and she said thank you. So for the Avia, he said he only has the white sidewalls with the gray trim.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I thought.
That's what
I will say Paul Chamberlain has the best behind the scenes tour of the Little Guy Max. He visited the company, and he was pretty much one of the deciding factors when we decided to buy the Little Guy, because I got to see how they built it from the ground up. So I wanted to say thank you, Paul, for that.
Yeah, it's always nice when you can get into the factory and show that build, how they
Right,
build it.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's a great video.
Yep.
Let's see. Robert Stitch said Rick rolling was a thing with internet videos too. What's
Rick rolling. Oh, Rick. Oh God. Never want to give you up. Yeah.
Rick Astley.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Where did that come from?
I don't know.
I don't know,
I
but
might
I didn't
have
start
missed-
having you sing in my videos. You sing better than we do.
I must have missed it.
Russ is going to bust a move with Rick Astley.
I'm just happy I knew what that was. You know?
Oh.
Well, what's funny is we were all the band geeks.
Yeah.
He's the one
He's
that
the one
started
that got it.
singing
Yeah.
right away.
A wannabe band geek. So.
So this pneumatic idea said, so jealous you're all talking all these new camper trailers were still stuck in a 1976, but it is gorgeous. Well, it will be. They're working on a renovation of their
nice.
Argosy.
Yes.
And I bet
Oh,
you it's
yeah.
going to look even better than driving a Vibens.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. But
You know, there's something to be said for those Airstreams, those
Yes.
classic
I know.
old Airstreams. They're gorgeous. So I wouldn't be upset to be in one of
No.
those.
No.
Man.
Now,
They're
every time we
beautiful.
drive by an Airstream lot, I'm always tempted to pull in.
Yes.
'cause you're right. There's just something of they're so iconic.
Yeah, new or used. It
New
doesn't
or
matter.
used, yep.
yes. Lucy from Wonelli RV Adventures, she said, sorry I'm late to the party. That's okay.
Thanks for
the party.
joining us,
Yeah.
Lucy.
She's fashionably late. That's how I would
That's
say
okay.
it. RV Foodies, hello all. Hi, that's a
Hey.
new name for us.
That's a good name for us.
Hey,
We like to get together and
RV
eat.
foodies. Yeah, let's hang out.
Okay, so I think this is the only thumbs up that Russ really likes. Donna Delahunty is saying, hit the like button, everyone.
Yeah,
We
thank
had
you
this,
so much.
this joke that when Russ writes an in-depth message to someone and he puts a lot of thought to it, never ever respond to his text message with just a thumbs up.
It's more people. It's more people that I know, and that I've really crafted a long, thought out email or text message to them. Then it's just bing. I'm like, oh, really?
But so last night this comes up. I'm looking through my text from Russ,
Yes.
hoping I've never given him the thumbs up. But guess what? Russ has given me the thumbs up before. So just saying, Russ.
Let's all
Do as I say, not as I do.
exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm guilty of it.
I
so.
love it.
Just saying.
RV Me Happy said, saying hi to everyone. Greetings
Hello.
from East Tennessee.
Hey, thanks for
Ooh.
joining us. We'll be
Yes.
passing.
How's
through
your
Tennessee.
temperature in East Tennessee?
Yeah, we're curious about that because
Yeah.
we'll be there. Next week? Oh no, a week afterwards.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, yeah, Russ just kind of let the cat
I
out
let
of
the
the
cat
bag.
out of the bag. Yeah.
I didn't, if
Wasn't
y'all
me.
rewatch, you're going to see my slight elbow move to the man.
I'm so glad it wasn't you and I.
Yeah. I didn't give it away.
No, we have a personal family issue that we have to take care of.
Yes.
So we are wrapping up my work camping experience early and leaving West Yellowstone. But then we will be traveling through to the East Coast.
Yeah.
So we will be on the road again starting next week.
But the good news is we will be coming back to do the same work camping experience next year here in West Yellowstone.
Yes.
There you go.
And I'm making him work with me at the candy
Yes,
celebration. RV Me Happy said, that's the one I read.
So
Sorry.
we are pulling up on our 30 minutes here. I think we just passed it and
Okay.
don't want to keep everybody too long. So
All right.
Let's,
Let me see if there's questions because a lot of people are talking back and forth.
okay.
Ooh.
It's feeling good out though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that with the breeze.
Temperature.
Yeah,
It's
this
been
is
so hot
beautiful
during the
right now.
day. Haas, he's our buddy.
Hey,
That's
Haas.
when-
Yeah, I
when
know
you say
Haas
name
from
Haas, you go,
your
hey Haas.
live stream.
Yeah, we love Haas.
Adam says, I have a 45-gallon gray tank on my Lance trailer, and it lasts 2 nights with 4 people, 2 adults, 2 children. I give anybody that's
Okay.
traveling full-time with
Yes.
children the biggest thumbs up and credit,
Yeah.
because there were times our house with our 2 teenagers
big
was
enough,
not
probably.
big enough.
And that sounds about right because you think about 45 gallons, but
Yeah.
4 people
Yeah.
showering.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean 45 sounds big, but when you're talking about 4 versus
Yeah,
2.
when it's just 2 people, that's huge, you know, but yeah, 4 people.
So Arkansas Traveler asked, does huckleberry pie with elbow impressions cost extra? Yes.
Yes,
They
it
do.
does.
And it
They do.
tastes
Tastes
really
so
good.
good.
It's that extra touch.
Carrie's pretty much the resident expert on that. So.
And it did stain. It did not come out.
Oh no.
Two Doves said they're late to the party, but we're chatting. They're having issues with the video uploading.
Yeah, well,
they're
Ace,
in Yellowstone.
Ace and Amanda are in a very tough place to have communication. That fishing bridge in
Oh,
Yes.
that's
Yellowstone.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, a lot of people are surprised as they come through Yellowstone Park. There's only a few areas that you can get intermittent connection, and those are at the peak tourist areas like Fishing Bridge, Old Faithful, up at Mammoth Springs.
Mammoth. Yeah,
But
yeah.
in between those, don't
None.
expect anything whatsoever.
Yep.
And if you're going there, load up your GPS, like your Google Maps or something, before you go into the park. Otherwise, if you're trying to set it or look at anything while you're in there, nothing will come up.
I don't know how it still tracks you, even though
I
there's
don't know.
no
Right.
connection.
But it does.
But it does. You
yeah.
can still access the map while you're,
Yep.
you're in
Yeah.
there.
So yeah, good tip.
Stacy said, thanks for the live stream with the most awesome YouTubers. Got to go. My
Aw.
7-year-old granddaughter visiting from Asheville awaits.
Fantastic.
Does she have
Thanks,
any
Stacy.
She
Bye,
needs
Stacy.
to
Tell
like
Chris we
follow
said
up.
hi.
Oh, and I had her amazing iced coffee earlier today.
Oh yeah, that iced
Yes.
coffee that you made me last time we were together
Yes.
was.
I had some
and that
while I
was
working there.
Stacy's recipe
It
too.
is.
So,
I
yeah,
know.
yeah.
Bodie Miller's here from
Bodie.
South Carolina.
Bodie.
David Larson, great job,
David.
everyone.
Thank you.
And Liz said, cooler temps here since yesterday afternoon. Beautiful today. Currently sitting in our screen porch in the back and very comfortable, which is good because she recently had surgery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
glad to hear that you're doing well.
They've got a beautiful view on their property out there. Just
Oh, I bet.
gorgeous out there.
This nomadic idea said, now if you looked at their most recent video, he was talking about things to consider with renovations. You could tell it was hot.
Right.
I mean, the sweat was just glistening off of his face and everything. He said it's only got up to 80 today
Oh,
in
that's
Atlanta.
a
so
nice
the
day in
East
Atlanta.
Coast
That is a
is,
nice day in
is
Atlanta,
cooling
yeah.
in. And Robert Stitch said, so much of continental North America has patchy cell service. Yes,
Yeah.
and that's why, you know, the cell boosters and the Wi-Fi Rangers and everything really do have their value.
Right.
But more and more new rigs are getting it integrated.
Included, yeah.
Yeah.
That's becoming a norm, I think, moving forward.
Yeah, you're going to start seeing that a lot on new units.
But that goes back to what we talked about with the Aldi today,
Right.
that with the new rigs and all the new technology, it's
New problem.
also the
New
more
problems,
things that
yeah.
could
new
potentially
issues,
go
yeah.
wrong.
All right, are we caught up here?
We are.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We had a blast. This is the first time we got
This was
to do
awesome
something
doing
together.
something like this.
So
Yeah.
having Travels with Delaney to do this with was just fantastic.
And I want to apologize because I don't even have my glasses on, but I've noticed one of the ill effects of me always wearing a baseball hat. My forehead is so incredibly white that I'm looking, you know, you're all tan, and I'm just in this big white
You got a
thing on the
bobber head? Is
screen.
that what no, I'm just kidding.
So I think I need to go sans hat for a while, I think, just to
All right, guys.
even out. And Donna's singing Happy Trails, so that
Aw.
means our time has come to an
does.
end.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, everybody.
All right.
Good night,
bye.
everybody.
Bye.
Thanks.
Happy trails.